So the excerpt that we're going to start with from the Neijing is the introduction of flavor and nature, or Qi-Wei in Chinese. The flavor and nature of plants and how that creates an effect on the body. And I believe this is number 1 on your handout. So the Neijing tells us that acrid can disperse and can make things move. That sweet can build, can slow and harmonize. Bitter can drain, can dry and make firm. Sour can gather, can astringe. Salty can descend and soften. Bland can permeate, benefit, and create flow. So we have the introduction of what the flavors do in the body with the first major book on medicine. The importance of this statement is not to be overlooked. This is the most important aspect of herbal use. Understanding how the flavor and the nature of a plant can affect the body. Plants are acrid, sweet, bitter, sour, salty, bland. We also have the temperatures of hot, warm, neutral, cool, and cold. Now, we all learned this in herb class. This isn't anything new here. While these words, salty, sweet, acrid, bitter, they may not seem like profound terms to use to discuss medicinal quality, these are the words that we should be using to talk about what an herb does. Earlier I said that the trend is to believe that an herb does something. So the next time a patient says to you, well, what does this herb do? Instead of responding, this herb drains damp, or this herb tonifies the immune system, or lowers blood pressure, I hope after this weekend you will respond, this plant is acrid, and acrid disperses and makes things move. Now, that may seem like semantics, but it's important in our minds that we begin to think this way, that we use this language, because with this language, our patients are not going to self-prescribe and do themselves harm. Who is going to purposely take a cold and bitter herb every single day? Who would do that? Nobody would do that. But as soon as you say, this herb is a diuretic, you may lose weight. This herb can boost the immune system. That sounds like something that everybody needs every day. So, we overlook the importance of these words from the Neijing. We use words that sound more scientific. We say herbs kill bacteria, or we say capsicum, that's the active ingredient in peppers, or berberine is the active ingredient in huanglian. But then we've jumped paradigms. And in this paradigm, in Chinese medicine, this is the language we should use. This is how we should understand how herbs are working. Now, flavor and nature. This isn't some airy-fairy theory created by a guy with a long beard. He didn't sit in a chair and say, sweet, slows. This is scientific in the sense that the theory was right there in front of the ancient Chinese. They were making tofu. They were making alcohol. They were observing phenomena, and the relationships were obvious. Now we can say, what we observe in the macrocosm of nature is true for the microcosm of the person. That's absolutely true. But it also sounds like theory from an old gray-haired, long-bearded man. What I'm trying to explain to you here is that flavor and nature is tangible. It's real. It's palpable. If you add vinegar to soy milk or cream, proteins gather together. And so we can see right in front of us a gathering aspect of sour. We can confirm this in our body when we eat sour. The saliva on our tongue will gather. We gather in. If you think about biting into a lemon, your torso, your face, everything about you is going to go like this. Our face has a reaction. It's not just affecting the tongue and the rest of the body doesn't know. This isn't just theory on paper. This is real. We can see it. We can duplicate it, just even thinking about eating a lemon. Smelling salts. They revive somebody. They open the orifices. So this acrid property we can see. It opens. It makes things move. That's how herbs work. It's not like sour goes in the body and travels around and then finds the liver and then astringes the liver. It doesn't work like that. It makes the mouth and the stomach and the fluids and really every single cell of the whole body react. And so then this effect on the whole body affects change. And then the symptoms that our patient is having are relieved because the entire body went through a change that we planned for in our formula by choosing sour. Huanglian doesn't drain heart fire. It doesn't kill bacteria. It's bitter and cold, and our body will react to bitter and cold. And that reaction creates a change that we could see as heat clearing or damp draining. But because of this, we have to be careful with our herbs, and we have to know how to combine the plants properly because they affect the whole body. So, returning to sour, sour will astringe, will sour the whole system. Astringency kind of through every cell. Now, some parts of the body will certainly become more sour, so to speak, and that's why we have theories about what herbs are better to use in different parts of the body. We can understand this with an example of jalapeno. Jalapeno is spicy on the tongue. Wasabi. Wasabi is spicy in the nose. Ginger is more spicy in the stomach. But if you eat a jalapeno or wasabi or ginger, it's not like your tongue is spicy or your nose is spicy, but the rest of the body is unaware. Your eyes may water. Your heart rate might increase. You may flare your nostrils and get up and move around. So your whole body being connected is completely affected. The mouth may be more affected by that jalapeno, but again, the effect is not just confined to the mouth. Now, let me take this one step further. If we think about eating spicy food, is there anything about eating spicy food that's going to make you curl in or get smaller? No. You're going to move. You're going to fan your mouth, look for water, blow your nose, rub your eyes. Everything about this acrid, which we sometimes translate as spicy, everything about that property is doing this. That's moving. It's getting bigger. Think about eating something really sour. Is there anything about eating sour that's going to make you do this? No. You're going to come in, again, everything. Yes, the tongue, but also the face and the torso and the abdomen. Some of our herbs will not create such an obvious reaction as the examples I have chosen. I did choose these examples purposely to illustrate my point, but they do create this kind of reaction on a cellular level throughout the whole body.